Okay, so thanks for coming to Literacy to Liberty's second installment of our introductory lecture series. We are doing a lecture series entitled Freedom and What It Means to Me. So it is basically speakers throughout the world coming together and discussing how they have made it on their own path of personal liberty and the lessons that they've learned from that. So tonight we have Yonah Kontak. He is a seasoned traveler, and I still don't know how to pronounce this. Reiki Master that has used his freedom of movement as an opportunity to allow the universe to continuously reintroduce itself through the act of experiencing and meeting other people. Through his travels and challenges, Yonah has grown up and continues to hone his personal philosophy of reclaiming our individual power through our approach to and understanding of interpersonal relationships. He will be discussing the opportunities presented to us daily through our interactions, whether romantic, platonic, or elsewhere on the spectrum, that may help one discover the true self and reclaim our individual power and freedom through an open approach to interpersonal challenges, honest communication, and the acceptance of infinite outcomes. So I met Yonah last year in his travels. He came to visit me here in Colorado, which was really awesome. It was great to see him face to face. Probably one of the best hugs I've ever had in my life. So Yonah's aura is very welcoming and loving. And so I felt compelled to ask him to participate in this lecture series because I think he has really valuable information for people on how he has gained his own personal freedom through his acceptance of his relationships that he's experienced throughout his life. So Yonah, it's lovely to have you here, and thank you for speaking.
Thank you, Rachel. It's lovely to be here, and I'm excited to share. So I want to start by sharing a little bit about myself and my story. Little sidetrack though. First, this is a Healy. It's like a frequency device sort of thing. I'm not super familiar with. Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm running the throat chakra one right now to help me out a little bit. Yeah. So a year ago, I set out on this journey, and I really didn't have any destination in mind, and I still don't. It's been largely on the back of intuition, and as I walk my path, it's revealed to me, and that's. I've had a lot of mixed reactions when I let people know that I don't have a plan. I'm going where spirit guides me, and people seem to be in awe. That's not really something that people do anymore, I guess. But it's been the most fulfilling time of my life. And I've trusted that the universe would support me, and I've trusted in the connections that I've made along the way, and like before I even set out. So at the end of 2019, I went through a lot of changes in terms of relationships. my partner at the time, we'd entered into our relationship with the understanding that we wanted to work toward a polyamorous style of romantic relationship. And it turned out that we had a lot of things to work on within ourselves, and just how we operated in relationships in order to make that happen. And so 2 years later, in like October of 2019, a mutual friend helped us transition into that. And it did what it did, and things happened how it happened. But she helped us break the ice, and I'm still friends with her. We're really close friends. Like there's love between us, you know. And yeah, so with a different girl, we had my primary partner had found another male partner that she was interested in, and I'd found another female partner, and we decided what fun it would be to let's all go to a rave on New Year's Eve. I mean, it seemed very appropriate. We were celebrating new beginnings, and then within a week into the new year, I was a single man. And the new partner, she'd come from Kansas, and she decided to go back early. And then my long-term partner, she decided that she wanted to pursue a monogamous relationship with her new partner. So that's where I was at the beginning. And then but while I had the two of them, I made it an effort to communicate honestly and directly with both of them. And my primary partner felt that at times I was oversharing. But I feel like maybe part of it just wasn't time for her to address the things that she needed to address within herself, and that's okay. She just wasn't ready. And I feel like as long as we seek growth and allow it to occur, we can navigate relationships if that's what we desire. And when we stop growing, things get stagnant. You know, the universe is in constant motion. We need to move and grow. That's so when that happens, you know, sometimes the best outcome is for the relationship to be terminated. Also, I feel that in some circumstances, relationships can be stepped back, and you know, if the individuals value each other as people, but they're not working under that specific relationship paradigm any longer. And so I've talked a little bit about polyamory, but there's lots of different types, and what fits the way I view relationships best is relationship anarchy. And so to define that, every relationship entered into through voluntary consent has the potential to grow and change, not only in itself as a partnership, but also through those involved. And as I said, we never stop expanding and growing as the points of consciousness that we are. And the relationships that we enter into can serve as a mirror for insight into ourselves. A premise of cognitive behavioral therapy is that by changing the way we think about something, we can change how we feel about it. And so part of my personal practice is changing my language around things. And I do this because of negative connotation. So as in the case of relationships, I try to avoid the use of the word problem. And nobody likes problems. That doesn't resonate well. You know, it's something to be solved, though, and not everything has an immediate solution. So I prefer to view that as those things as challenges. And challenges are something that are worked through to be overcome. You know, not something with a definite solution. And once you overcome a challenge, then you gain experience with it, and you know how to handle that in the future, and you can apply that experience to different challenges. And so another part of that is with problems, the more you look for them, the more you're going to find. It's a law of attraction sort of thing that happens there. And so we have to let go of the need to solve everything all the time, and we can start looking for lessons instead, that are presented to us through these challenges rather than problems in our relationships. So when the shutdown started happening, I got laid off from this job that, like, it was the only job that I'd been able to say that I loved. And so my last tie to the area that I was in was severed. And like I said, it's been on the back of intuition. And I knew I saw myself living in a tent and traveling. I just didn't know how it was going to come about or when it was going to come about. And it kind of happened a little sooner than I expected. And so I started preparing everything, and by May, everything was ready. And also during this time, I was dealing with a lot, and just everything around COVID was triggering to some trauma like that's present in me that hasn't been completely healed yet. So I was dealing with that, and so I set out, and as I drove, I felt the heaviness lift, and the farther away I got, the more consistently blissful I felt. And I just sort of threw myself to the wind and experienced without expectation. Just let things happen and tried to maintain that mindset. And follow my intuition. And I got to meet so many incredible people along the way, and I'm still meeting them. And I got to fall in love with them, and moments and conversations and sights that only I got to see. So I digress. I feel that we fall in love with others through observation of them in moments of unrestricted freedom. And the same holds true for moments themselves. And so the challenge in relationships, therefore, lies in allowing the freedom to go unrestricted. The ego seeks to control because what gets recognized is how the moment feels, and the ego works with the brain in order to fulfill that desire. And the collective is currently driven by the mind, and I feel the aim now is to integrate mind and heart, and the mind is logical and seeks to analyze things and put things in order and solve problems, which is completely necessary. It's a part of the whole. And the heart is emotional, and the root and purest form of that, I believe, to be unconditional love. And in order to love unconditionally, one must love must love with full acceptance of all states of multidimensional being, of the subject, object, of thereof. And one must accept that the choices of others have nothing to do with them, and that the dualistic view of good and bad that's been presented to us, I believe to be a falsehood that keeps us in a state of separation. In reality, good and bad exist on the same spectrum in varying degrees, and all are part of the human experience. And so to attempt to control another's experience in a way that subverts their free will undermines their ability to fully experience the life of their choosing. And the only true control we have as conscious beings is over ourselves, and all other forms of control are corrupt and illusory. And I say that, and I'm sure that we can all agree that people seem to have difficulty affording the amount of freedom that they desire to others, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. I feel it's magnified in those the most, but it's also present in all of our relationships. And so we have to be willing to allow others the same freedom that we want for ourselves, and accept their choices as part of their path and the things that they need to learn. And we all grow up hearing things like, if you love something, set it free. And people parrot these things to each other. But it seems to me that if you truly consider it, none of us owe anything to each other. I don't believe in obligation, because I feel that it's a convention of control. Obligations use guilt to manipulate. And in order to maintain my freedom, I must not be manipulated. Included in the things that we do not owe one another is the most precious commodity of all, our time. We're all free to do whatever we want to do, period. No amendments, qualifiers, or restrictions. If another chooses freely to share their time with me, how am I to feel anything other than grateful? The emotional pain that we experience with the loss of a relationship is due to attachment. And if we can allow others to live freely and love them regardless of their lifestyle choices or beliefs or whatever, and remember that we each have our own divine path to walk, and we can love without attachment. And then we can love without attachment. And when we love without attachment, we love without control. Then we begin to live our truth and love others while doing so. And according to the nature of the universe, individual ways of being ripple out, and others recognize when someone is walking in their truth, and that inspires them to do so as well. And that's all I have. That's
Yonah, thank you so much. That was awesome. I had tears a couple of times. That was so awesome. I have one question. And then I'm gonna open it up to everybody. Mm-hmm. If you want to ask questions. But I guess my one question to you would be, do you have like a hierarchy of love in regards to your acceptance of understanding that you're the universe experiencing itself, so the universe, mm-hmm. and then other people, and then yourself? So how do you see all of that coming together? Do you see that as an even spectrum, or do you see, because like, for example,
we can only love as deeply as we love ourselves. We can't put out more than we have. Yeah.
So here's the interesting question I have, because the universe, you're the universe, right? And I'm the universe.
So
do we love the universe the most? Do we love, like, you know what I'm saying? Do we love the universe the most? Or do we love each other the most? Or do we love ourselves the most, which is also the universe?
I don't feel like it's quantifiable like that.
Okay.
Let's see. That's a good question, though. So we can only experience love as deeply as it's an individual basis. So it's subjective entirely. But I don't feel like it's quantifiable. Like I don't love you more than I love me. I don't love the universe.
I mean, I get that.
Not,
yeah.
But
I guess the question is, like we have these challenges.
It's different. Right? The love for everything is just, it's different.
Okay. So that's what I'm wondering. Like, when you have these challenges yourself?
Right. I've been challenged recently, so it's
but like when you feel like the universe challenges you, you work on that unconditional love.
Right.
Like when a person challenges you, and you work on that acceptance and unconditional love. And then with yourself.
Right. And we're all going to slip up. Nobody's perfect. This is, I try to practice this with myself, because it's my own personal philosophy on things. And
well, I think your philosophy is beautiful.
Thank you.
I gotta say it. I think your philosophy is beautiful. The idea of having relationship anarchy. I love the idea that you've kind of coined that. I've never heard that before.
Well, it's actually, it's not entirely mine, but I've taken it and expanded on it.
Sure. Yeah. So that idea that somebody is completely autonomous, right, along with the idea that you are going to have challenges in your interpersonal relationships, and that the way to overcome that is to understand and accept the fact that the universe is experiencing itself through you and other people. Is that correct? How I understand your philosophy?
Correct.
Awesome. Correct. All right, cool. Okay, if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to chime in.
So one of the things I wanted to say, because I thought it was pretty awesome, is fantastic. You did great. You did great. I could sense your like nervousness and stuff like that, but that's cool because that's what makes you part of what you are. You know what I mean? So that's right. That's what endears people to you.
Thank you.
So one of the things I thought was like really cool as a parallel that happened to me today about exactly what you're just talking about is I just happen to have, those baby squirrels. All right. And so my mother came over and she's looking at them, she's playing with them, stuff like that, and the cage I've got them in is not something that's going to keep them in the cage. You know what I mean? It's a dog crate. They're little things. They can just walk right through these things, the bars. It's because, you're not afraid that they're going to get away. And I'm like, no, I'm going to let them do what they're going to do. Because the thing is like anytime I've ever had an animal and I put it into a cage that it couldn't get out of, all right, that it felt trapped, it didn't love me. All right. Right. It didn't love me. But and whenever I did get it out of the cage, it would want to try to run from me. But every time I've had one that I've just let it just kind of just roam itself, just go, leave its little cage and do whatever it wants to do. And that's basically just a little headquarter for it. And that's it. You know what I mean? Right. And it can do what it wants to do. They always come back to me. They always will come to me with a call. They always are interested in what I'm doing. They'll leave the cage and come and look at what I'm doing or something. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is that's exactly what you're saying. You know what I mean? Is like, if you love something, realize that you got to put the trust in this person, enough Absolutely. Trust to where they know you trust them. Because that feeling in itself will cause them to think twice about doing something stupid later on. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And that's how it is. Because then the thing is also is it puts you in a position where they know now they're spoiled. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you've spoiled them now. And so nobody else is going to do that. If they get into a relationship with anybody else, they're going to be, you know, lorded over, you know what I mean?
Right.
You look at that person's ass or something, you know what I mean?
And here we are looking at it together.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right about the negative connotations being used so often with relationships, about that being that's a problem and that's a problem and that's a problem. You
Right.
know, approaching them as a challenge, you know, and trying to understand one another. That's how relationships stay successful. And I do believe, you know, that's how we've gotten to this point now where we are so distorted as a society. Is we don't communicate to try and understand one another. We communicate to make a point, you know.
Right.
Exactly. And you know, there's one other thing I wanted to like just add in there that to make this even cooler, because listen to this. It's a very interesting philosophy, and I got taught this. Okay, I didn't know that this was happening. I mean, it kind of works in parallels with a lot of different things in life, but like say when you're sitting there with a horse, all right, you're sitting there with a horse and you really want to pet this horse, but the horse doesn't know who you are, doesn't know anything about you, you know what I mean? So you go straight at the horse and the horse is going to be pulling back and it doesn't want to be, you know, gouged at like that, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't know what you're doing. But if you turn your back on that horse, just give it complete trust, all right, and it sees that you're not paying attention to it anymore, that you're not looking at him anymore. Now he is interested in you and wondering what's going on with you now. You know what I mean? And so he will literally come up to you and start smelling you and start nudging you, and that's how, you know, and that's basically giving that horse the freedom to do what, you know, to come into the relationship the way they have to come into
it. With consent.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Horses are funny like that though.
Don't turn your back.
we had a few horses when I was growing up, and my dad would keep cookies in his coat pocket, and they would come up and check for cookies, and they'd pull his gloves out of his back pocket, and
yeah, they'll do stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they can't stand it if you're not paying attention to them, even if they don't know you. They can't stand it. They want to know. They want to know why are you now not paying attention? I don't want you to pay attention, but why are you not paying attention to me right now?
People are kind of like that too, I've found.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a big parallel. You know, there's like all these parallels with that same subject.
Right.
That's great.
And animals are just living their truth, you know. They're just living how they know how to live.
Yeah, they don't have a TV telling them how to think.
They don't hear propaganda.
And that's been really one of the rewards of living how I have this past year. Is I've been completely disconnected from society and the majority of the time.
And how much happier has that made you? Oh no. Yeah. Okay. How much happier has that made you
now? I'm not depressed anymore. I still get anxiety and stuff, you know, but I'm not depressed anymore. Like, that's gone. My temper's leaps and bounds better than it used to be.
Yeah. Mine too, actually. I've done pretty good with that here over the last year or so in getting that under control, but definitely the interpersonal relationship anarchy has helped me immensely, you
Right.
know? So really, you know, meeting you was really important in a step in my own life to understand, you know, not everybody is going to be on the same page with me, and that's totally fine. As a matter of fact, I'm like an island amongst myself sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes I don't even know if I agree with my own philosophy, you know?
I've
But I
done
do,
that.
you know? But it, you know, it's okay. That's okay. That's the learning process that we're in right now. Nobody has all of the answers. What we do have is our, you know, our consciousness and what we our message that we're getting from whatever the universe frequencies.
I believe that
you know,
we're all
Olympian.
connected in that way, you know,
Yes.
like you were saying before. And even there was something I heard recently about us being descended from fungi. So we're like mushrooms. We're just points of consciousness that have just,
I mean, honestly, like, let's think about it. Everything that's living in this world has come from the decay of something else.
Right.
I mean, it's a cycle. That's what it is. So from dust to dust, you know, that's how the saying goes.
And we remember
what it is.
We remember. We just
do. It's amazing. You know, I've talked to other divine masculine men, right? That's who I like to keep in my inner circle here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be honest.
That's a good move.
It's a good move. I don't know what to tell you. It's just we're attracted to one another in various ways.
I like to keep divine feminine in my circle, and that's most of my circle, honestly.
And that's how it rolls, and that's our tribe, you know.
It is.
And so, you know, when it comes down to it, I met a guy, you know, and he would tell me about how the moss on stones would tell a story of the past, because that's how they're alive. The moss was alive, you know, and it's from ancient life, you know. And I found that to be just absolutely fascinating. The types of things that other people see in this world, that if you just listen for a minute to other people, just the perspective that you can get that's so different, that you may not have ever even remotely thought about yourself. And I think that right there is what they're trying to stop.
Right. And we all have a piece of that puzzle. And I've been collecting puzzle pieces.
That's what I do too.
Yeah, that's magnificent. Yeah. Magnificent. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and everybody, I just listen to people because they're talking to me for a reason. I feel everything happens for a reason, you know. It's just one of those things. So everything leads up to something. And
you know, it really freaked me out when I came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
That absolutely everything is planned. I was really freaked out about it for a little while, right? Because it's like, damn, that is a certainty, you know?
Right.
At this point, I don't know quite how I feel about it. If I'm numb to it, or if I don't know. I still have like that bad ache.
It's paradoxical though, like the rest of everything else, because it's planned, but we also have free will.
It's almost like we're in a simulation, like we're somewhere else, and we're experiencing a program that they programmed for us, you know, and we're all in this little 3D chat room. All right. That's what it really is. We're in a 3D chat room right now.
Right.
Just like what we are right now in Zoom. You know?
No, that's totally how I think of it, you know. Yeah. So that's why I was wondering, like, you know, how you approach this, you know, like for example, people talk about, when they talk about unconditional love, they sometimes talk about how you need to love yourself first before you can love others. And then the other approach is if you are to love the universe and understand your source and love your source for the good and the bad, you know, that comes from it and everything in between, you know, then you can love other people and other beings because you understand that they're part of this source.
Right.
And then you can really love yourself because really all you are is loving the source.
Yeah.
You know what? I was watching a kung fu movie the other day, or little short experts of it, of the TV show Kung Fu with Kwai Chang Caine. And one of the things that they said, that one of the masters said, was awesome, because he actually was feeding this guy that was like this traitor, you know, this terrible person or whatever, that had stopped in at the monastery to you know, get something to eat because he was hungry, but he was traveling. And so young Kwai Chang asked the master, he's like, he's a traitor and he's done all these bad things. So, and he's going to do bad things after he leaves here. So why are you continuing to feed him so that he'll be healthy enough to do these bad things? And the master looked at him and said, when he walks out of here in the morning, is the sun going to withhold its light from him? Is the ground going to withhold its steadiness from him? You know, is the air going to not let him breathe it? He said, if all these things in the world are not going to withhold from him, then who am I to withhold from him? You know what I mean? And that,
yes,
that struck me deep right there.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely. Me too.
Yeah.
And that's I tell people not to seek revenge. You know, I'm a Scorpio telling people not to seek revenge. You better listen to that. Because it's
you better stop. You'll be fine.
But it perpetuates it. And so, you know, and we're breaking cycles this generation. And that's so amazing. All of that, it ends with me.
Yes, it needs to stop. You know, it does. It needs to stop. So yeah, let's all become masters.
I know, right? I feel like I kind of am one in a way.
Yeah. You are.
Well, I've learned a tremendous amount. And in fact, another parallel with Yonah that I've got is that I've been in the position of not having a place, not having anything at all whatsoever, you know. And the only thing that I really had problems with was trying to find food and you know, water and stuff like that. That was tough. But the thing about it was everything was always provided for me.
Exactly.
It really was.
We're always abundant, and we're part of that false programming is we've been afraid, like this, we've been put into this state of lack. We don't have enough, but we do.
But we do.
All there. We have everything we need. And
I was homeless. I was homeless at a McDonald's. All right. The only thing I had was my vehicle. That's what I was living in. All right. And I was sleeping at night there because everywhere else the cops would mess with me real bad. And a couple of homeless guys there that were like professional homeless guys, I guess, you know, they come trying to beg from me. And I said, I'm in the same spot you are. I just have a car, you know, and that's it. And so they were like, oh, okay. And I was hungry. I didn't have any money or anything like that. Next thing I know, I hear a knock on the window. I roll my window down, and it's this guy, all right? And he says, hey, we were able to get some sandwiches from some people. You know, some people were able, you know, gave us some money to get some sandwiches, and I thought about you. Here's a couple of sandwiches, bro. You know, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? This dude had nothing in the world. He come begging to me, and whenever I told him I was in a spot, that guy went. And another thing, I was like, all right, I'm not going to be one of those guys that sit on the corner, you know, trying to get money or anything. I'm going to try to be progressive with my thing and try to do things. So I had my fishing pole with me, and I was fishing at this lake and everything else, and some guy was using his cast net with his wife sitting there, and he was catching a bunch of tilapia. And I just talked to him because I was doing like you, man. I was like going around talking to people, you know, and because it just felt natural to do it for some reason. It just happened, you know. I wouldn't really even have to try, you know. And so here I was. This guy was like, "So what's your story?" You know. So I told him my story and everything, and he goes, "Tell you what, come back here in about 45 minutes, because I want to tell you something." So all right. So I went ahead and went on. I was doing my fishing, and I come back and everything. And him and his wife were sitting there, and he says, "Hey, here's a cast net. You'll do way better with this." And here's some of the fish that are too big because they were trying to start a pond, you know, in their house, or a little place where they could make their own fish, you know, or, you know, catch their own fish at the house. And so he was like, and here's a couple of fish to eat. And somebody had a barbecue there that day in the park, a big, I guess it was like a big black family celebration thing, and they left burning coals in the barbecue grill over there, and I was able to take that and use the fish and cook fish right there and have something to eat. All right. Then one of the craziest things, one of my friends gets in touch with me and says, "Hey, well, come on up to Oregon." And I was like, all right. So I'm on my way up to Oregon. I have just enough money for gas, you know, and that's it. And I got this little car, and the two front tires, one of them has a Maypop on it, literally. And going from Florida to Oregon, whenever it's snowing up there and everything, you know, and my tires were bald, you know, and the one was about to pop. And so I stopped off at Walmart in, what was that place? Where a lot of the cowboys go do rodeos over there in that one state. And it's a real famous town.
Wyoming.
Yeah, Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so I stopped off in at Cheyenne.
I actually love Cheyenne.
And I love it. That is the best place. Listen,
it's so windy.
They have a quilt shop. I'm a nerd. They have a quilt shop there that is like the best quilt shop I've ever seen in my entire life.
The streets are clean.
Yes, I've gotten multiple packages from there. It's terrible. So yeah, just sorry.
Listen to what somebody from Cheyenne did for me. I'm at Walmart sitting there.
Wow.
The guy says, yeah, this is going to be $375 for this one little tire. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have that kind of money to get that. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, I don't know what I'm going to do now, because it was about to pop. And some lady comes walking up and she goes, "Here, just put it on my credit card." She paid $375 for my tire. And I was like,
that is so nice.
Oh my God. I said, "Give me your address," something like that, and I'll send you some money, you know, to pay you back. And she goes, "No, don't worry about it. I've been in that spot before." I'm sitting there. I started crying. I'm like, you just paid $375 to somebody that you didn't even know. And you happen to be right there at exactly the right time in the universe.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, they threw the tire on and I got to Oregon. And so that's what I noticed. Whenever I didn't have anything, now that I have even just this camper and some of my stuff, I'm stuck to it. I'm seriously stuck to it. And so are all these other people with these houses and their luxury items and stuff like that. They're like a raccoon that has grabbed a shiny object in between some bars, and now they can't get their hand out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I was just thinking about that last night. I was just thinking about how blessed I am to have never bought a house, to have never done anything like that to hold me down right now in this world. Like the materialism really like just makes you cling to this world like a magnet.
The main ingredient to the recipe.
It is the main ingredient thing. So I really am pretty grateful actually for that right now, you know, And God, whatever, the universe, whatever it is,
whatever you want,
whatever that is,
whatever you want to call it.
I don't have the answer for that. Whatever it is, you're right. It's always there providing. If you're open to it, if you have that frequency, it's always there. And I can't help but continuously be grateful for that. Like multiple times a day, I have to tell you, I say, even subconsciously, I'm grateful to the universe. I'm grateful to the universe when I get to cut caramels. I'm grateful to the universe when my daughter spells her name. I'm grateful to the universe for having you guys on here. I'm grateful for having the opportunity to even do this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so grateful.
It's an all the time thing, but it's because I understand the universe. It's just like, it's literally like sitting right next to me.
It's in you.
Right next to me.
It is you. It is you.
It is.
Yeah, that's the weird. That's
there.
Mind blowing. That's why, like, whenever people say, yeah, we're like from outer space or whatever, and I'm like, but our bodies have to have all the nutrients that are here on the earth. You know what I mean? We stopped developing all the, plants can still pull the nutrients from the earth, the minerals and stuff like that. So we have to eat the plants because we're not planted into the earth. So we're mobile. So we have to store up on some things by getting, eating things that have pulled some up out of the earth. You know what I mean? So every part of our body is part of the earth. It's everything. So we're not alien to this world. And the other thing is that I wish that people would get their mind off of thinking that we are not natural to this earth. Like whenever they go, oh, but it's man-made. But you know what? All the stuff came from the earth. You know what I mean? The earth can handle anything that we can throw at it. It really can, because it's made for us. It's made
we're literally like fleas or ticks on the back of a dog. If it needs to, they'll just shake a little off, and everybody says that it's a virus. But even if the virus is man-made,
we're all, and the thing is, we're all like chemicals. All right. That's all we are, a bunch of chemicals. So we're having chemical reactions to other chemicals. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And other chemicals are having chemicals reactions to us.
And the only weird thing about it is that we're aware of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so weird, is that we're actually aware of the fact that we are having a reaction. Yeah. Whether frequency or chemically, and that's what makes it so mind-boggling.
And it's the same chemical reaction that you would have if you poured two chemicals into a glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't like to. We can't. It's hard for us to think sometimes of the parallel to that. How we're linked to that. But that's what we are doing. Is exactly what you're seeing in the glass. Is just in this big petri dish that we live in.
And I think that Yonah is onto something about we're in a state of lack. Mm-hmm. I think that that's actually why we're in this confused state of, we are trying to unravel our truth as humanity, not like just as individuals, but also there's something happening here around the world where we're all reaching the same conclusion, which is that there's something dampening our realness, our true self.
The physics is governing us.
Yes.
Basically that's what's happening. We're being governed like a carburetor on an engine. You know what I mean? That's basically like a governor. It governs the speed and makes sure that it doesn't run out, and doesn't do what it's not supposed to do, And that's what we do. Exactly. And what's funny is that we are self-regulated like that. And we don't even realize that, because what happens is this: everything that is in our existence is all magnetic. All right. All the oxygens stick to the hydrogen through polarity, north and south pole. All right. Positive, negative, same thing as north and south. So you got all these magnets, little chemical ball magnets, or whatever you want to think of it, like just filling our whole atmosphere, our whole ether, our whole everything. Yeah. And that's what we're even made out of, is all these little magnets. All right. But imagine having all these magnets all trying to be in the same little room together. And whenever these magnets are turned this way, now it makes these magnets repel, which makes these magnets get pulled in, which causes those to get repelled, and and then now think of it exploding in an exploded view of all these little magnets all trying to catch an equilibrium, but none of them can, because every time they turn this way to be magnetically connected to that one, now that's repelling that one, where it used to pull into it.
That's interesting. It kind of reminds me now of, if we were to align all of that. Okay.
It would be a dead battery.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they would not exist.
Yeah.
Because we are the difference of potential. We are the difference of potential that it creates.
Stay calm and dead battery.
There'd be no electrons flowing at all,
Oh no. Yes, but wouldn't we wake up from the simulation then?
Probably, because that would probably mean they turned the off button. Everything just went back aligned, and
oh man, that would be, I don't know. Do I want that to happen? What do I want to happen here? Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. We're laid right next to each other. The next step. Yeah.
Like I consider myself to be an explorer of consciousness.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, whatever, man.
Yeah, let's go. I'm down.
Whatever.
This is like one of the most interesting groups on the internet right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're like coming up with answers. Everybody else is out there going,
can I say I'm solution oriented to challenges?
Right? Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, like, all these other people are out there going, they're drawing people in by asking questions, like, I wonder about this and that. They're all going, hey, you know what? I wonder about that too, Yeah. And then they'll all sit there and figure out that they all wonder about it, but none of them can come up with the answer to that. You know what I mean? And that's maybe they don't even want to.
It's leading to something.
Yeah.
I 100% fully believe that it's leading to something. Yeah. Do I have the answer to that? Not today. Not today. But I'm definitely, I'm waiting for the universe to reveal it to me, because I continuously have people come up to me and tell me, like, you have been brought into my life for a reason. And so I must humbly accept that, Yep. And so all I can say to people is, it's for a reason, it's happening. Like, we're all hearing it. We're all on that frequency.
Yeah. So something to add on to what you just said. This wonderful woman that I met recently.
Hi, Lucy.
She's not, well.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah. So her one of her sons had dreams about me like 3 years ago.
Wow. See, it happens. It happens. Yeah.
And, dreams.
I actually hated dreaming because they often would come true in various ways.
You said they were all good dreams.
That's good. Yeah, not for me. No, I actually don't like my vision, my subconscious vision. Whatever they put into me, I actually hate it so much that I like not dreaming. It's like literally, it's a thing.
Yeah, that's my problem too. Is that I got to the point where I can control my dreams so good that it was weird. Sometimes I did have to tell myself that I was dreaming.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing is, that's how I figured out how to control it, by telling myself,
yeah,
you're just dreaming.
Yeah, no, I did that as a child. I would do that as a child. And then as I got older, I was actually experiencing like third party experiences through my dreams, you
Oh
know,
wow.
like
Yeah.
in the astral plane. And I would actually be like somebody else for a moment. And like that kind of freaked me out. So I was like, I'm good. Hi.
There's another
Hey,
person.
Lucy.
I'm making
So-
food. I'm making food. So I'm like, hey, we need sustenance.
Yeah, I have to get off here because I have to make sourdough pizza. So but it's nice
I
to see
can't
you.
wait for your cooking. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I hope to see you both at the Revolution. You know, that's, you know,
She's probably
yeah.
not. She probably won't be there, but
Okay. Well, you know, I
yeah.
hope to meet you one day.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, looking forward to it. So I'm like actually practicing wood fire pizzas techniques.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I can do
Yeah.
it like on the campfire.
So my plan is to come early, if that's okay with you, and like help you like get everything.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, when we get closer to the date, I'll involve you in everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's so nice of you. Yeah.
Like, I can be there like a week ahead of time if you need, and like
Awesome.
just,
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like I was
Cooking and
actually pretty
everything
worried
and-
about the hiking. I was actually worried about hiking the food into there, you know.
Yeah.
So like if we could do that a couple of times throughout that would be great. So
Yeah, I got you.
I haven't talked to TJ about it because he's you know, he gets banned every 5 seconds, and then with everything going on with me over the last month, it's just been, you know, but we're getting there again. I'm getting back to the scheme of things, if you notice.
There's been a lot of things happening in the last month for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. You know, every time I talk to somebody, it seems like there is huge things going on in their lives. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much, Yonah. I'm gonna get this recording uploaded to YouTube. I can't wait to share it with everybody.
So I can niece you with my face.
My face.
In person, like go live one day. It'll happen.
Awesome. Yeah, can't wait. All right. Good night, Tracy.
All right, good night. I'll see y'all later.
Okay.
Good night.
Night.